Throughout almost 1500 chapters, there are only a handful of moments in all of Hajime no Ippo where Ippo finally snaps and lets his emotions get the better of him. In some altercations he may slip up and be enraged, while on rare occasions he is visibly furious and aims to hurt his opponents in a very bad way. The first time Ippo was visibly furious was in a throwaway match against his second opponent ever, whose name I do not bother to remember. This guy blatantly cheated during the fight. At first, Ippo thought these cheats were accidents until the guy started to smirk, which infuriated Ippo. Ippo wasn't going to let that one slide and ended up beating the guy unconscious. What's more memorable, however, is Ippo snapping at Mashiba before the official fight. After Mashiba cheated to get the win over Miyata, Ippo wanted to check if Miyata was okay, only to be left uncertain whether Miyata's career could even continue after his close battle. Ippo was hit with rage and destroyed a vending machine with a single blow, which is insane. The following day, to let off his inner rage, he continuously hit the punching bag until Takamura stopped him. By the end, Ippo had almost broken his fist and was prohibited from sparring for a full month, leaving him unprepared for his actual match against Mashiba. During the fight, Ippo managed to remain mostly cool at it, except for continuously hitting Mashiba with his broken right fist over time. Despite this, Ippo still got the win in the end. This wouldn't be the last time Ippo was furious at Mashiba because of Miyata, but let's move on. Many chapters later, Ippo had to defend his title against Sawamura. Even though Sawamura is an impressive outboxer and has the potential to go beyond natural boxing, he entertains himself by cheating in his matches and hurting other people. This is something Ippo does not take lightly. In his eyes, even though Sawamura has the power to be a great boxer, he relies on cheating for entertainment. What really fueled Ippo with determination though was when Sawamura almost hit Kumi with his fists. Ippo questioned how a boxer could do something like that, using their fists to hurt others outside of their legitimate fight, knowing how dangerous they are. Fueled by his determination, Ippo resolved not to let a monster like Sawamura take his belt. And Ippo was right on this one. It's one of the most brutal fights in the manga. Ippo went unconscious several times and almost tore his leg muscles, but in exchange, he delivered a mandatory beating to Sawamura. The result was that Sawamura suffered 3 broken ribs, 4 lost teeth, and worst of all, a fractured eye socket that left his left eye sunken into his skull. The funniest part, however, was when Sano visited Sawamura in the hospital and had the balls to say, after all the damage, that Ippo's fists are full of life. Ippo almost murdered that guy lying on the bed, and Sano just giving this motivational speech cracks me up every time. What most of you probably don't know is that Ippo came very close to brawling with a drunk guy on the streets, but this was completely cut from the anime. After Ippo's fight with Sawamura, it was Takamura's turn to face the world middleweight champion David Eagle. Miyata suspected that Takamura might be blind from one eye, so Ippo went on a quest to gather information about the symptoms of a detached retina. Along the way, he met up with Sanada, who explained everything to him. The more Ippo learned, the more despair he felt, fearing that Takamura might be actually blind in one eye and never be able to box again. While lost in his thoughts, Ippo accidentally tripped over a drunk guy. The drunk immediately choked Ippo and even punched him. Ippo got furious and unconsciously raised his fists, ready to fight, but came to his senses just in time. Realizing that fighting would cost him his boxing license, Ippo walked away from the scene. However, the next time Ippo was involved in a street brawl, he wasn't as restrained, but we'll get to that later. The next time Ippo was having none of it was in his build-up fight against Malcolm Ghetto. Ghetto fixed his fights in exchange for money and used tricks, meaning cheats, during his matches to win. Ippo found that disrespectful to boxing, but the one who took it personally was Coach Kamogawa, who bet over $50,000 alongside Ippo to humble Ghetto. The fight itself, however, was underwhelming. We barely got to see Ippo go all out except for the final exchange, where Ippo punched the daylights out of Ghetto's stupid head. Now, the next one you guys will probably know. It was Ippo's fight with Kojima and the entire build-up leading to it. Throughout the build-up, Kojima kept trash-talking Ippo's opponents, calling them pathetic and weak. Whether it was in front of Ippo or anyone else, he just wouldn't shut up about insulting them. But Kojima really crossed the line when he started trash-talking Kamogawa and ridiculing his teachings to Ippo. That was enough for Ippo to give him a death glare and ensure that Kojima got the fight he wouldn't forget. When the match began, they had an intense stare down that lasted over a minute until Ippo finally charged in. Kojima countered him, which only fueled Ippo's rage further. Ippo then delivered the second hardest punch in the entire series, sending Kojima flying across the ring. And the most poetic part is that Kojima ended up not remembering the match at all. Ippo only had 2 more matches after this fight before retiring from boxing. After that, that he became a trainer for the Kamogawa gym and began searching for new prospects. One day he stumbled upon a group of teens bullying another high schooler. Instead of confronting them aggressively, Ippo took the no enemies approach and kneeled before them, asking them to leave the kid alone. The leader of the punks eventually confronted Ippo and expressed interest in learning boxing from him. Initially, Ippo refused, believing that punks like him would use boxing as a way to hurt others instead of respecting the sport. However, he was eventually convinced and began teaching the kid, whose name is Teihei, some boxing basics. On a stormy day, Ippo discovered Teihei using the boxing skills he had taught him to beat up other punks. Ippo tried to stop him, but Teihei insulted him, calling him naive and claiming that his teacher must have been a softball idiot like him. Teihei then threw the mitts away in defiance. Feeling betrayed and hearing Teihei disrespecting Kamogawa, Ippo confronted Teihei and delivered the good old parenting slap of the millennium, sending Teihei flying and knocking him unconscious. Ippo immediately felt guilty for his actions and even considered turning himself to the police. However, the police didn't take him seriously and let him go. Ippo shaved his head bald as a form of repentance and went to the Kamogawa gym to ask for forgiveness, intending to leave the gym for good. Instead, Kamogawa gave Ippo 2 new prospects to train as his disciples, Teihei and another street punk who witnessed the legendary slap. Both of them also shaved their heads bald. By the way, Teihei is Aoki's younger brother, and Takamura fingered Aoki to death for being a terrible older brother. This apparently nerfed Aoki, and he couldn't use the throat punch for a few matches after that. The next time Ippo lost control was during a sparring session with Volg. Wally was set to have his world title fight against Ricardo Martinez, and Volg was on the undercard defending his own world title. Volg needed a suitable sparring partner, and Ippo happened to be available at the time. Ippo wanted to repay Volg for helping him figure out the Dempsey counter during his fight against Sawamura. So Ippo locked in, and the sparring quickly turned into a real fight. Ippo pushed Volg to take it seriously by almost punching his liver out, so Volg retaliated by delivering the white fang, sending Ippo unconscious. But that was a mistake. Now Ippo was really unconscious. He sent Volg to the ropes and unleashed the evolved Dempsey roll. If Sando hadn't interfered and stopped him, Ippo might have ended Volg's career right then and there. Sando essentially saved Volg from having his head chopped off. The last time we saw Ippo serious was fairly recent and unsurprisingly involved Mashiba again. Ippo and Kumi were about to smoosh again, but Mashiba showed up and demanded Ippo spill his guts about his intentions with his sister. Things escalated and Ippo was about to leave when Mashiba brought up a sensitive topic, whether Ippo was truly okay with retiring. Mashiba even mentioned that he had always wanted to fight Miyata. All of a sudden, Ippo snapped. He claimed that they could have fought if Mashiba hadn't cheated against Miyata and lost fairly like a man. Unexpectedly, Mashiba apologized. He admitted that he just wanted to win at all costs and felt that cheating was his only option back then, something he wasn't proud of. I strongly believe that his apology made Ippo see Mashiba in a new light. Motivated by this moment, Ippo trained hard and later sparred with Mashiba to help him prepare for his world title fight. They went at it for 9 grueling rounds, giving Mashiba the right kind of training for his big match. I thank my members, especially A Prime, for being such awesome supporters and making these videos possible. If you have enjoyed this video, then please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more Hajime and Ippo content. I'm the Reading Crow, and thanks for watching.